So, I believe I'm supposed to share this. I'm gonna share what I'm supposed to, the takeaway is supposed to be first. While I wash my face and then pin my hair. So the takeaway here is that you have to find or shift your perspective on situations you perceive to be negative or perceive to be a bad thing. For example, everyone is aware or should be aware that I went to law school. I started law school back in 2012 after I felt God called me to law school a year after my dad died. So part of that process, I moved to New Orleans. I prayed and I said that God, this is your will for me. I need a job and I need a scholarship. I need some money to be able to go to school. I was blessed with a diversity grant to attend the University of, Loyola University, New Orleans, College of Law. And that was an especially amazing time in my life, but it was also a very isolated time. I went on to stay in New Orleans for 2 years because both my brothers this year, this is my main one, but this nice older lady with beautiful skin at Sephora recommended this if you have visible pores. I have pores with the sebaceous filaments as well as on my nose, and so trying to get those smaller and take care of my skin. So God told me, I think it was my second semester, or I was gonna have some time out of school, and that I was not gonna be in New Orleans for forever. And I'm thinking, oh, it's only gonna be a little while. No. So I moved back to South Carolina in May of 2014. I attended the fall semester at Charleston School of Law, and then I ran out of money because I took all my money out of my 401k and paid for school, the difference of school for the fall semester, and I didn't really plan for the spring because I was thinking, oh, maybe I can get a scholarship or something, or I can pay. But as things would have it, I was out of school from spring of 2015 until the summer of 2016 when I was pregnant with my son. And I went to school summer of 2016, a full-time, part-time student, so I took a full part-time load. And I went in the fall, took a full part-time load, and took my MPRE while I was 9 months pregnant. And I was able to pass, which would allow me to practice in, at the time, my goal was Georgia, South Carolina, and North Carolina. The blessing is that my scores don't expire, so I still have those scores, but unfortunately, my law school this time was Charlotte School of Law, and they lost their license to operate, and so I was unable to finish law school. So I was like, okay, God, I'm gonna give it one last try. I reached out to the admissions office at Charleston School of Law, and I was gonna go back there. And I talked to them, told them my situation, had gotten a verbal, okay, you can come back. I wasn't sure about the whole job situation, but I was like, you know, I'll cross that bridge when I get to it. If I get into school, then I'll figure it out. And at the time, my son was 16, 17 months. So what ends up happening is when I go to do my application, my law school, my LSAT scores have been purged because I took the LSAT in 2011, December of 2011. And ABA has a rule that you must be done with law school within 7 years of beginning. So all the credits that I would have earned in New Orleans were set to expire in 2019. At the time, I only had 1 year left. So 1 calendar year of classes, and I was just gonna do what I gotta do, like, to get school done. But because my scores have been purged, I didn't have recent LSAT scores on file. My records from Charlotte School of Law were not, they didn't submit them properly into the National Clearinghouse. So there was no record of my attendance at the time. So that was heartbreaking for me. Like, it's like to get so close, a year left to finish, and have the door essentially slam in my face. And I had to grieve that. But to be honest, I didn't like really properly grieve it because, you know, I had a little baby, and I was not too long, had gotten out of the hospital for kidney rejection. So it's like, well, I need to just focus on my child and working, and I will get it together. I'll figure it out. And I made my peace reluctantly. Reluctantly made my peace with that, you know, I'll finish when my son is older. And so I've now been in school a year, and a full year, a full calendar year, because I've been going year round. Been in school a year and almost 2 months because fall semester started on the 22nd. So it's been like a month, and like it's been like 6 weeks. This is actually week 6 because I'm taking one of my midterms tomorrow. And I think about it, like, what would I have lost that first year of my son's life if I hadn't been able to continue school? Like, I was going to have to rely on family, which, you know, I'm grateful that I had family in place to be able to rely on. But I was going to miss my son's likely his first steps, his first milestones, and all of those things that a parent wants to experience. And I got to hear his first words, see his first steps, and you know, even when I had a whole month off before we moved back to Atlanta, and I'm very, even though it was strange, like how everything worked out, because God worked everything out, like down to the details. Like, it worked out perfectly, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. Like, I was able to experience so much of my son's, I've been able to experience so much of his life, and to get to see him, get to know his personality, experience him as a little kid, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. And so, very long-winded story to say, like, it's so easy to get caught up in the things that went wrong, how your plans didn't work out and go the way you had hoped, and how life didn't go as you planned. Like, how, you know, the vision you had for your life didn't turn out the way you planned. And I'm speaking to myself, like, I had such grand vision for my life, and, you know, a lot of things that I've hoped and prayed for haven't turned out the way that I wanted them to turn out. Like, you know, one of those big things was I ain't want to have a transplant, but that was God's will for me to preserve my life. I didn't want to have to take nearly 15 years to get done, to start and finish law school, but that's what God had for me, because there were so many blessings that I got to experience as a result of doing it God's way. And so I know I'm supposed to share this because I'm in a season right now of things not going the way I thought they would go, or like friendships and relationships not being the way I thought they were going to be. But I have peace because I know, I know there's a silver lining. I know God is working it out. And I know, there's some greater benefit that, you know, I can't necessarily see all the details right now, but God sees it. And I'm grateful that it worked out this way, because, I'm able to, try to steal away, make good memories with my son, and do the things that count, and show up for him, and be there and be present for him for those things that are important, and to build a relationship with him, and to get to know him as a person. And he's older now, you know, he still wants all my attention. Anybody that knows him know that boy loved his mama. But, you know, I didn't get to miss out on those first steps and those milestones. And I'm very grateful, because I could have, putting this in on the ends of my hair. Well, actually kind of throughout, but very lightly. I'm very grateful because I get to do these things. I get to, you know, shuttle him back and forth as his chauffeur to all of his activities. I get to be there for him and still do all the things that I'm doing right now. So my question to you is, what's your silver lining? What's the thing you get to do as a result of your plans not working out the way that you wanted them to? What's the thing what's the blessing, or what is it that you get to experience? Who do you get to experience? Who do you get to spend or do life with? Or what lessons have you learned as a result of things not going the way you wanted them to? Another major silver lining and blessing for me is that I've learned to study. I've learned several different ways to approach studying, and I'm still iterating. I'm still trying to figure out exactly what works best for me. And I don't have that closed off mindset that it has to be this way, or I should know this because I never had to study before, or I also have learned to, this is a big one. I've learned to give myself grace, because, you know, one, I'm in school in a completely different way this time around. But two, you know, I'm doing way more than I was doing when I was in school the first time. I didn't have a kid. I have a way more demanding job, and a lot of other things on my plate right now. I didn't have any of that the first time around. And, you know, I do have some regret that I kind of took it for granted, but I'm grateful because I have the lessons from it. So that's it.